Welcome back. I'm going to begin working on the photo paper. I've got 3 different pieces here because I'm going to give you a couple of different examples of how the photo paper interacts with wet and dry materials. So I'm going to take the brush that I used for the canvas one, and I'm just going to apply some of the wet directly on to the photo paper surface. And what happens is the photo paper itself becomes almost gelatin-like. You can see if I take it and I touch it afterwards, it becomes, it's hard to describe, it's almost sticky. So it's quite interesting. And I'm going to do one version with the wet on dry, and then another with the wet on wet, just so you can see the difference. And then I'm going to do one that's just straight paint without water applied directly to the paper, just so you can see how they interact with each other. So that was the wet on dry, and then we'll take, this is just a dry brush, there's nothing on it. And you can see the difference in texture you get when you do just the straight paint onto the photo paper. The photo paper itself is a very smooth surface, so it doesn't have any kind of grain to it. And the reason I'm taking the colors from my previous video, which was the beginning of the canvas painting, is because I'm still craving those colors. I'm really enjoying them. So I'm just going to keep going with them because they're making me happy. But you can see how it changes how the two of them interact. Like you get much more sort of a flowy, jelly-y kind of look here with the wet on dry. And all I basically had was a wet paintbrush with paint on it that I just sort of smeared around. And then this one is just the straight paint right onto the surface of the photo paper. And what it does, I'm leaving some white spots in behind too, because my next layer I'm going to go over and it's going to be a little bit different. And then with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take just a clean brush, dip it in the water, spread the water out on here, and we shall see. It's sticking to me. And this is just the photo paper that you'd use like in your printer if you have a photo printer. I used to have a photo printer, I don't anymore. So I'm using up my leftover paper. And then when you touch it to it, it kind of, I don't know if you can see, but it spreads out. So it's kind of interesting. It does like different, it's almost like this little color aura around it, which is different. So it's quite fun. Just messing around with the different ways that you can apply the color. And the different effects that it gives are quite fascinating because it changes how it behaves. It'll change the layers that you have underneath any other paint that you put on top of it. It'll also change, well, now you can really see how it spreads out. And you'll see how it can change the painting that you make afterwards as well, because of how it interacts with each other, because of how the colors blend and the colors will find their own, I don't know, sort of happy place with each other. You'll end up with completely different looks to each one. That is so pink. Love it. And I just wanted to show you how that works, simply because it's interesting if you happen to have some old photo paper at home that you're not using. It's just kind of a fun thing to work on. I'm trying to make a lot of the videos that I'm doing right now things that we can all do at home with stuff that we already have at home, because not all of us are running out to the craft store right away. And I love how it just sort of spreads itself out. But that's the first layer for that one as well. There we go. And then we shall return. I'll be right back. See you soon.